there, I'm Ellen, Director of Programming here at Progressive Performance, and we're going over the single leg squat. So, progression number one, nice and simple. Step ups. The beauty of this is we have these blocks that are about 2 inches, so we can really work to anyone's level. Typically we start around 3 or 4, but make that decision based off who your client is. I'm just going to have Joe step onto these blocks. I like having them do one leg at a time, like all 10 reps on one leg. It's easier to keep track of. Things to look for here is just that the knee is tracking over that toe so it's not buckling in, and then that the hips are getting fully extended at the top. Sometimes what happens is that if the leg's weak especially, is when Joe's stepping up here, she's going to swing her other leg in too soon and then assist with that stand up. So just make sure they're finishing that stand up with the stepping leg all the way, and then that other leg just comes in for support. From here, you can load it with dumbbells, you can increase the stack height. We don't typically go higher than 6 or so. And then if that's getting easy or you need different variation, we would go to the front foot elevated lunge. From the step up, we'll go to the front foot elevated squat. So I lowered the blocks a little bit because we just want a little bit of elevation. I'm gonna have Joe put a foot fully on this block, and then she's gonna scoot her back foot behind her. So it's a split squat stance. And then from here, just gonna tell the person to go straight down. So we're making sure that the weight is staying over this front foot and they're not rocking back and forth. Because we want to think of it as a single leg squat, kind of like that abbreviation SLS is standing for. The balance can be kind of tricky, so if they need to hold a dowel, they can, or even weights can help. And then from here, once they've kind of mastered this, you'll get them flat onto the floor, and you're just watching for any sort of like pushing too far over the toe or rocking back a little bit. From the front foot elevated split squat, we're just gonna go to the ground level. So I'm gonna have Joe get in a split squat stance here, and then just like we've been cueing the whole time, just sit straight down and up. You're looking for this 90-90. A lot of time people will do a little too wide of a stance, and they will really push into that back hip and get a big stretch in the quad. What's gonna happen there is it's really gonna pull on their low back because now they're pushing that hip forward and their pelvis is tilting. Another thing you're looking for there is what the front foot's doing. So if she's driving that knee too far forward, that heel's gonna come off the ground. So plant that front foot, go straight up and down, and you should be good. Take a moment to watch from the front, because sometimes you will see that the knee will go into valgus, so tell them to screw the foot into the ground or drive it over their middle toe, and that should line that back up. From here, you're going to go to a rear elevated split squat or load before you're doing that. So up to you what your client is doing. So from that split squat on the ground, we're gonna start raising the back foot. So on that low surface, Joe's gonna put a foot behind her. We're getting closer to a Bulgarian split squat here, so we're really loading that front leg. And from here, just like you've been cueing the whole time, just tell them to sit straight down and back up. We wanna make sure that leg's not too far in front of them, otherwise they're gonna get a huge stretch in the quad of that back leg, and it's potentially gonna change that pelvis angle. So making sure close enough to that back foot so the movement's going more straight down than any sort of forward movement. From here, keep increasing that height until you get to a Bulgarian split squat and load it up. So increasing on that rear foot elevated split squat, we're going to a Bulgarian split squat. So that's just your back foot up on the bench here. I'm gonna have Joe kick that foot back. I like having the top of my foot down on this bench so your ankle's pivoting as you're going down. And from here, you're just sitting straight down. Again, making sure your foot's not too close or too far, and pulling on that hip and low back. So the same things you're watching out for in the other variations, you're watching for here. This is just the next level. Load up one hand, two hand, that is up to you. And then if you're wanting another lunge variation, you could do walking lunges as one of the final ones. That tends to put the most pressure on the back and the hips, so typically go through these, but if you're wanting to mix it up, you can do that as well. So that is our single leg squat progression. There's quite a few variations in there, so always start someone at a step up. It's really easy to quickly progress them, so increase that height, add some weight, and then from there just get to the lunge variations. So up to you to decide where they're starting and how quickly they're progressing, usually dependent on just their balance as well as that strength that they're gaining. So refer back to the progressions and regressions and you should be good to go.